does manage to get that Vayne again as well, because it has been very, very strong. Despite the fact that they lost the first game, still had a great performance, but going to be the same band starting out here at least, but
I definitely don't think Vayne's a problem. That one will stay open all series long if Woosh wants to take it, especially because Crystal has the Draven in the back pocket to be able to hard counter it in lane.
Well, Snake also have the first pick now as well, and Beast has played a fair bit of Rek'Sai as well.
Yeah, certainly has, so we'll see if he's willing to pick that one away. Still think that the Gragas is a good pickup. He had a bad game. Snake can't take anything away from their team comp that game because they didn't lose it team comp wise. They just lost it because of an early invade.
Yeah, they seem to lose it from sort of minute 1 and we're playing then off the back foot. But look, we'll see how this game goes and whether they're going to pick differently. And it is going to be Assassin's Karthus that gets all of the respect here. And I like that ban because Assassin very recently, of course, has looked almost the most comfortable on that champion.
Yeah, certainly has. It also turns mid lane into a better farm lane for him. We said non-interactive lanes, it tends to suit Barker. But if that's the case, able to get it done. You mentioned Lulu there. Maybe go for the Cogmore composition. See if that will go through. It's the first time it's been left open for Snake to have the opportunity to pick away.
I would like it here if Snake pick up the Rek'Sai as the first pick. Or, of course, Flandre's Maokai. Yes. 3-1-0 during the middle of that game, sort of was 75% of his team's kills, so not too bad performance irrespective, but Rek'Sai's open again here for King. They can go for a potential Lulu pick away if they want. And MLXG, no-brainer, needs to lock in that Rek'Sai again.
Yeah, for me, it's really the no-brainer as well. I think that they go back to maybe a Naut or a Sion in the top lane. They both seem to work out as well. And then just slowly build your composition around there. You don't have to give much away.
And I guess they, on the side of Snake, they assume that the linchpin for that team comp was this Karthus. We'll see whether King can prove them wrong on that front, because, of course, I just have a feeling that Rek'Sai in the hands of MLXG, very, very strong. He did get a quadra kill at about 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, he
Not quite
did.
Huey, but pretty good. Huey got a 7-minute penta. I mean, that's just a little bit silly, but Beast happy to hop back on the Gragas. Third time running now as well, as there's going to be Morgana looked at here. Locked in. Might be going to Barker, might be going to Ella. We'll see exactly where that one's going to be, of course. As far as the Snake lineup is concerned, it does trade between Ella and Flandre most of the time. But with the Maokai locked in there, we'll see whether that's going to be some low action, some Ella on the support Maokai, but probably not. And King now rounding out their lineup. Whoosh. He's going to pick up the Vayne again.
Yeah, so very confident on the Vayne. I don't know if it's misplaced confident. It's a strong comfort pick for Whoosh. We already know that, so definitely is.
This is the same team comp.
Yeah.
Just the same one. Of course, King, we'll see what Assassin picks up here for the mid lane, and he might be able to go back to comfort as well. Might be able to hop on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, something like that could come through. They definitely don't lack for damage with the Vayne in there. Maybe even a Vladimir could be a good pickup. As we see Barker, he's hovering in Azir.
And Crystal on the Cogmore as well. We'll see whether Snake actually decide to switch to that Lulu as well. Go for something more Juggermore-esque. But without Nunu available, without Janna available, a little bit different, and you're shaking your head.
It's definitely not a Juggermore comp, mate.
No, well, it's sort of like
one support does not make it the Juggermore.
Well, I just don't really understand. I think it's just if you've got a Cogmore and then you've got someone to make him big, he looks like a Juggernaut. So I figured that's sort of how it works, right?
So the idea that separates a Juggermore comp from the other compositions is that Juggermore is able to stay at the front of the composition, and he's the one that actually needs to eat the CC. Because in a normal Protect the Cogmore composition, it's still a front line with Cogmore on the back, and that's definitely what this is. Beast, Flandre, they want to be up the front. In a Juggermore comp, it's all about getting the shields and spell onto Cogmore, so then he eats the CC, able to break through it, and then dishes out the damage with all the speeds up. So it's actually the reverse of a standard Protect the Cogmore composition, which is why Cogmore generally the only person that you can do it with, because he's the only champion in the game that does a high enough damage threat that you can throw everything onto one person and then he can mow them down.
Well, this is most definitely not that, but I'm really glad that you've clarified it.
Just a common misconception. One of Papa Smithy and myself's pet peeves that comes through.
I am well aware of that. I just like making you reiterate it over and over again. But we do see the lineups here, of course. It is going to be Ella on that support Morgana as well, and it is going to be Kassadin picked up by Assassin there in the mid lane. Sort of was a pseudo counter pick to Azir before the Kassadin changes? How does it go now?
Yeah, so as we go through the lineup, we'll kind of hit on that as we see, of course, Maokai versus Sion. The thing about Kassadin is his Rift Walk scales better now than it used to, but he has to be melee to get it done. The thing that doesn't really suit Kassadin currently is the fact that Azir harasses so heavily in lane, and with the lane swap meta coming through, you don't tend to get the ganks mid lane that you need. Azir's very squishy, so if they go into standard lanes, I'll give it across to Kassadin because he should be able to farm because the threat of the Rek'Sai is very high against the Azir. However, it goes into a lane swap, Azir's just able to push out, probably going to go in his favor.
Well, we'll see what works out as we move forward here because, of course, Barker, a very competent Azir player. Crystal, a lot of his success has been on the likes of this Kog'Maw, not in a Juggernaut comp, as we learnt today, of course, is more of this backline Kog'Maw. But ladies and gentlemen, let's hop onto the Rift and see how this one goes. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. King taking on Snake for Game 3. It's all tied up. And Barker is going to find most members of King trying to head into this jungle here as well. We'll see whether they spot out potential standard lanes. Is Barker able to get a Sand Soldier up as well? Couple of them.
Oh, that's a scary brush to walk into.
Oh man, not quite enough cooldown reduction / attack speed. That was close. It was close.
I really liked how you said slash there.
Well,
he says it how he wrote it. I like it.
What do you mean?
That was a compliment.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cooldown reduction or attack speed probably would have been correct.
I guess I probably could have said or. I mean, it's still the same amount of syllables. If we're talking about efficiency, I think we're still fine. Flandre gets the deep ward down, though, with his trinket and able to spot out a lane swap.
Who was talking about efficiency? I was talking about correct English.
It's not about correct English. Isn't? Oh, wait, hang on. Maybe that's the whole thing. But let's get back to the game, ladies and gentlemen. We do have some deep wards coming through to spot out a potential lane swap. And we do also have Snake waiting very patiently, very far up in this lane, so they can potentially start a freeze or catch someone out with a duck binding early on.
It certainly looks to be what they're going for there. Also, prep 2 saplings. We see this a lot. Beast going to be able to get, Barker going to be able to get a couple of auto attacks, take out the little ones. It's an early experience advantage. Means you hit level 2 a creep before your opposition, which is always handy in the mid lane because that's when a lot of the kill potential comes through. The Sion dies on the map again.
Speaking of creeps, Beast is going to be able to take down his red buff here as well. You've got, of course, Crystal 1-to-1. This lane definitely going well, but not too much going on. Sky going to teleport back to his turret just to try and eliminate a little bit of that cooldown on the summoner spell instead of teleporting to the minion wave. And so far, everything breaking out very, very standard. Crystal takes an empowered auto attack there from Whoosh after the tumble, but able to trade back with a bit of damage. And how does this lane go? Sort of Morgana, Kog'Maw into the Vayne. Kog'Maw obviously going to outrange.
Yeah, Kog'Maw outranges once gets the Sheen available, can really trade well with 1 or 2 auto attacks. Whoosh, he's looking for the extended auto attack trades. The one thing you will say about this lane is there is no way you break the Black Shield. So it's all about making Morgana use the Black Shield on Kog'Maw, then changing priority targets, being able to get on top of the Morgana and take her out of the fight.
Now we'll see how it does go. Of course, that does give Crystal free reign to auto attack, and has been a lot of Snake's playstyle to sacrifice one for the good of the colony.
If only they were ants.
I was going to say, we should change their name. No, not this time around. Assassin and Barker farming off against one another. Assassin still very comfortable in this lane, does have the flask just to keep himself up, and that's a big minion wave, so despite the fact that he's down 7 CS now, he's going to be able to pull himself back in here.
But this has always been the worry about Kassadin's lane. If you get that far behind, that many creeps underneath your turret, you get wow.
There's another dredge line to come through here in this bottom side. The knock-up only landing onto Ella, but my goodness, the auto attack's coming down. Whoosh gets exhausted. Crystal trying to trade back just a little bit. Oh, the Prey-Seeker doesn't quite land it, as Ella able to eat some biscuits to get back into health. But That's one of the first times we've seen an early Rek'Sai MLXG gank not be successful.
Yeah, it certainly is. And meanwhile, Beast, he's made his way into the top.
Yeah, Sky in a bit of trouble here. Does flash immediately, of course. There's the knockback. Beautifully timed. It's Decimating Smash going to deter Beast and Flandre from doing anything more, but that is the Summoner spell down. Yeah,
it certainly is, and we'll see if on the... Wow!
Oh, Crystal still, of course, has the flash available, but this is definitely not working out as the Condemn actually lands into the wall for the double damage as well here from Whoosh, and his Vayne very, very strong.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's standing up well in the lane, and now they're shoving in. They're looking for a dive. Teleport's available from Flandre. Let's see if that one goes down well.
Yeah, MLXG coming through here as well. Preyseeker going to land as he comes through the Umbo. Not going to quite get the knock up, but he picks up first blood. As MLXG trying to get another knock up onto Ella as well. There's the Akathian surprise. MLXG might be in a little bit of trouble, but has
He's
a lot
of
friends.
trouble as he is down here.
Yeah, the Sand Soldier's coming through. Doesn't quite have the E just available. But that Dark Binding was beautiful. And Barker picks up MLXG. Not too bad at all. Sky, in the meantime, manages to get the 1v1 onto Flandre.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what happened in that top lane. Looked like he took some turret shots coming through, and Sky able to turn that one around. But a good roam coming through from Azir. He sacrifices his lane a little bit. Actually, Assassin getting ahead in CS now, but the kill definitely worth it.
Yeah, and able to pick up... Oh, doesn't manage to get any buffs from that one. A little bit unfortunate, but Assassin now going to have to deal with all of these Sand Soldiers assassinating him, potentially.
Not assassinating anyone.
Oh, well, they're trying. They're doing the best that they can.
Yeah, slow, consistent damage.
Hey.
And they're real obvious too.
I mean, come on. Shen's a ninja. So, I mean, anything can happen.
It certainly can, Atlas. It certainly can.
I'm not having the best day, let's be honest. MLXG going to be hanging out here in this mid lane, looking to try and get Assassin further ahead. Does, of course, have the Riftwalk available now.
They've got a couple of members here as well from Snake's lineup. They might look to turn this one.
We're going to pick something up. Barker playing very far forward. He's behind in levels, of course, from leaving that lane, and the rest of Snake are going to head back towards this bottom side. The 1v1 between the Cogmore and the Vayne still going on. This Beast making his way into the lane. Assassin, let's get that shield proc, but is using that very, very nicely from the Q to really help things happen. Liam take a few auto attacks here from Crystal, who doesn't quite have the Phage just yet, but he's almost there, only behind about 10 CS after an awkward start to the laning phase here for Snake.
Yeah, a very bad start to the laning phase here for Snake. They ate every piece of CC they could nearly find.
And there's a lot of CC in that lane.
Yeah, pretty hungry actually for it. And we'll see if they go back for seconds, as Whoosh actually able to pick up all the CS but one. Means he's 20 CS ahead.
Yeah, beautiful play. MLXG hanging out in this bottom side yet again. Tunnels back over. There's the teleport into the bottom side as Beast has been discovered. Flandre going to come down here as well. Scion's already available. It's a 4v4.
Everyone's available.
It's a big party here as Barker and Assassin were actually going aggressive in the mid lane on one another. It's going to be the disengage from King. Flandre walks over a ward as well after he puts down a sapling, and everyone's just going to disengage.
Yeah, so actually in Flandre's favor, I think, because top lane may actually be pushing towards him. It is, so a lot of creeps are going to die that maybe Sky would want to pick up. So Flandre probably gets the better of that teleport. And he's also just going to walk in and also assist shoving out Bucker's lane as he's being pressured quite heavily by Assassin. So Flandre, he really got a good end of that trade for a non-interactive teleport.
Yeah, picks up 3 caster creeps for it as well. Barker not going to be happy, but the tree definitely going to be, as Whoosh takes an empowered auto attack there from that Bio-Arcane Barrage from Crystal, but going to be able to shake that one off. Now has the Vampiric Scepter in his back pocket and a massive CS advantage. There is a huge creep wave here, but even after all of those are
30
up,
creeps.
No, there is not. No, there is not, as Crystal going to do his best here to farm this one out underneath the turret. Whoosh going to go back, finish off the Bilgewater Cutlass, possibly some daggers as well. See exactly how much gold he does have. Of course, didn't manage to pick up any assist in MLXG's kill that he managed to pick up before onto Crystal. But there's the dagger. Not quite a couple, but does have one. And of course, the Bilgewater Cutlass with some added CC in these potential trades is always going to help out. Just a really efficient item, that one.
Yeah, it's not a bad item coming through. The activatable is actually a little bit poor. If you want to get really thrifty, definitely invest in other things, but certainly okay if you have the gold for the combined and nothing else.
I believe it was when Name played Vayne. He picked up the Vampiric Scepter Longsword double daggers before finishing that one.
That is exactly the thrift build that I'm talking about.
That is the thrift build. Wonderful. So if
you want to go bang for buck, that is actually much better for you. You just actually get some really crappy damage and a slow from the Cutlass.
I just like it though. It makes you feel like you're doing more and makes a fancy sound.
It's more slot effective.
Slot effective? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've normally got too many Doran's Blades at that stage. Wushin going to dodge out of the way. Oh, almost. The Living Artillery.
Headbutted a wall, unfortunately.
Yeah, never a good way to play.
They're a little bit thicker than you think sometimes, those walls.
So Crystal, despite being behind in CS, is able to get some pressure down, of course, now that he's hit level 6 with the Bioarcane Barrage. But Vayne having a fine time in this lane. MLXG looking to put some pressure on here towards the top side. Actually just going to exit the lane. There's another sapling going to be put down.
Flandre thinks he's gone. He can go over the wall. He doesn't, but he could.
Beast coming through, looking for Assassin here, who's taken a lot of damage. Pink Ward does spot out the ward, and there's some more Arise damage to come through here as well, as Barker going to command his soldiers just to smack Assassin around.
So both the mid and the bottom, even though having good advantages for King, not able to continue to bully their lane. They've both been shoved in. Some shops came through in the bottom. Kog'Maw actually still hasn't picked up anything. He actually went back and grabbed the Krugs. He didn't go back and shop.
No. No, he's been sitting on that sword and a rock for quite some time.
He has a lot of gold, 1,700. That's enough to finish the Phage and pick up a Sheen as well. You'd think that's what he has to go back and grab now. Actually equalizes the lane because the Blade of the Ruined King hasn't been picked up yet. Although 14 CS behind, that's fantastic news for Crystal.
Yeah, and Crystal might actually have just sort of won this one out just a little bit based on back timing.
Yeah, the war of attrition coming through from Crystal. Definitely agree with you there. Liam has to get aggressive. You feel that they need to turn the lane around now, but there's too many creeps. I don't think he has a way in.
He's looking for it. Dark Binding is going to land here. Does have level 6. Crystal taking so much damage from this final hour. Vayne, who gets exhausted underneath this turret. MLXG looking for something which doesn't lock down the kill, but Ella... Oh my goodness, the Soul Shackle's going to lock him down. There's the Dark Binding as the Living Artillery comes through. They're trying to tank up this turret so that Wushin doesn't die, and I have no idea how Ella is still alive.
Yeah, so the 2v3 coming through. They get absolutely everything out of the King bottom lane, and now Snake trying to hit back in the top.
Yeah, Beast is going to be here. Does now have the explosive cask. Sky just going to use that Decimating Smash, clear out the wave.
Yeah, there's no way you dive
Why
with Ultimate, with Flash. And King, they're trying to pick up the first dragon. They definitely will grab it, but I like what you pointed out because they didn't die there. 20 CS, so that's a big deal. However, still not enough gold to finish the Blade of the Ruined King. There is 2 components of the Trinity Force. This is the strongest Kog'Maw gets in lane.
Yeah, this is beautiful, and MLXG going to lock down the first dragon here for King. That's definitely good, but Woosh not going to get the same kind of injection of money that you would otherwise have previously when a dragon went down.
Yeah, so they've decided 2 members... they got it.
Oh, there's actually the Twisted Advance to stop the ultimate as Barker comes through. There's the Exhaust to come down as well as the Sand Soldier's trying to do some work, but Sky gets convinced that he definitely wants to go home by that ultimate from Beast.
So Barker actually used his E over the wall. It wasn't back off cooldown, so there wasn't enough CC to be able to come through. What they did, though, they forced him off a huge way, and now Flandre has got the CS advantage in that top lane.
Yeah, and this is very different to what was happening in the last game. Things still in favor of King just a little bit, especially based off MLXG's early control of this map.
It's based off Assassin. Assassin has been able to grab a 12 CS advantage on a melee laner against Azir, who's probably one of the best range bullies in the game. Assassin really has played this early game well, skipped the part of the game where he should be weaker. Now that he has that roller stacking up, as the Catalyst is just going to keep him so healthy in lane, probably just going to turn into a farm fest, and we all know that Kassanen loves those.
Oh yeah, Dredgeline coming through though here on the bottom side. Crystal going to get that Black Shield popped there as MLXG solo shackled. He's going to get stunned up just a little bit. Crystal now trying to get out of the way here, but so many members of King coming down on him. You can see Cathian Surprise going to do some work in this fight as it explodes. Whoosh getting taken down very low, but Flandre, oh my goodness, where did he go? Is going to eventually die wherever he was. The double kill coming through from Assassin. Emperor's Divide going to crush him against the wall as Barker trying to finish off the kill. The turret's going to finish it as the Azir starting to do some work. Nice knock up to come through from Beast, but Sky super tanky in this one. And they're trying to make up for this horrible trade of Snake. but it's not really going to come through. That was a 3 for 1.
Yeah, 1 for 3 coming through. Assassin picking up 2 of them and an assist. Whoosh grabbing 1. Probably couldn't have had better kill distribution coming through for King. So once again, they eke a small advantage out of it. This is what we're used to seeing from King. Great laning phases into pretty good ganks around the map. That's why we complimented Sky against Flandre. Flandre held onto his ultimate a little bit too long. If he had have popped it, actually would have picked up the assassin kill. Maybe even turned that trade around for his team. Instead, they come out a slight ahead. But what happens when you win those little team fights, Atlas, is all of a sudden you win by 100 health. Next time you're winning by 180 health. And it just snowballs from there.
Yeah, precisely. Plus, it also means that you've just been through this team fight and you know that if you commit to a fight like this, you can win it. So you can play more decisively next time around. At least that's how I hope this one's going to go for King. Because, of course, they have been lacking in sort of the making a move department.
Didn't know that was a department.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Sort of like, you know, that the shy guy in high school who just can't quite get up the courage to ask the girl who obviously likes him to go on a date. It's that sort of thing. Except it's
my life, Atlas.
Killing
Story
people.
of my life.
Yeah, sure it is, mate. No, I feel for you. I feel for you.
Wow, the sarcasm.
That wasn't sarcasm.
We just break back into standard lane. Maybe another gank coming through into this bottom lane, trying to shut down the Vayne. Need to babysit Kog'Maw for another, actually, just 100 gold, because then he has his Trinity Force and the lane will be fine. But as that Blade of the Ruined King has been picked up, not really, wow, Assassin trading so effectively. Not really much they can do in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Barker able to clear out some of these wards, but...
as I said that, they take down the turret, so...
Yeah, it's gone. Hey, but that's more turrets than they got in the last game.
Certainly is. One more.
One more. So they've still got some work to do. We shall see. Snake. With not really too much of a deficit here. Sort of you think about the last team fight, you think about the last game, and you assume that King probably pretty far ahead. It's nowhere near a gold lead that requires riding home, but I'm frightened considering Assassin is on this Kassadin and has had such a great game thus far.
This is
partly
based
based off
from Snake, rotating into the mid lane. There is no wave clear coming through from the King lineup. Of course, taking that Kassadin is always one of your weaknesses, and they have pretty good siege with the Kog'Maw. See how that works out as Flandre and Sky. I don't even know what they're going to do to each other. Probably a whole load of nothing.
I think it's sort of like a massage for one another as Sky is able to take down at least a creep there. That was definitely
MLXG
exciting.
has a flank potentially good bind, stops any initiation coming through from Lamb. They're going to have to back away from that one. Huge wave accruing in the bottom lane. Probably send Kog'Maw back to shop, pick up the Trinity Force, leave Bucker to clear out his lane and get someone down there to pick up all that tasty CS.
Yeah, and with Kog'Maw going back right now, picking up that Trinity Force, Dragon going to be up in another 50 seconds here as well. Snake might be in a good position to be able to pick something up. Swoosh able to clear out this wave as well. Barker shoving through. Of course, you did just mention that in passing before, the fact that King not too much wave clear, so Snake able to shove these waves a little bit more quickly.
Yeah, they certainly can, and with the Trinity Force user, you can get it started before the real power has come through. Assassin still needs some CDR. Sion not that tanky at the moment, so there is an opportunity here for Beast and Crystal, to team up, use the Gragas ultimate to force people off turrets, take them down one by one. However, it doesn't look like they really want to move on it. That might be what they need to keep this gold gap pretty manageable.
You can see now King with some fantastic aggressive vision in the Snake jungle. I mean, Snake not quite having any defensive vision of their own. It sort of looks like the opposite sides of the map here. As King able to see exactly what's going on around all of these camps. You've got Rek'Sai with some very aggressive tunnel placement as well.
Certainly does, but it really doesn't matter because Beast, he's just been supporting the bot lane at the moment. So you can keep vision over whatever you want topside. Flandre, he's undivable because there's not enough kill pressure coming through from a Cinderhulk user and a Sion. They can stay under the turret for a very long time, but unless you bring a third member, not much really going to happen up there, as you can see. Once again, we take a in-depth look at the wet noodle fight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Farmy Cinder going to help Sky.
So kind of wasted vision, and we talk about this a lot. It's one thing to have wards, But if you just mindlessly place them around without a clear understanding of what you're hoping to achieve, in this case, there's no reason towards the top side of the jungle unless you're trying to wait for Beast to go up there, then start a Dragon buff, then you're probably going to lose out more than what you gain.
Yeah, Crystal actually black shielded, able to get around that cove. Could have been dangerous there with Whoosh hanging around with the Condemn, but with a black shield, unable to be knocked up and shoved into the wall.
So Snake, they're going to give up a Dragon. I like this call because second Dragon, not really a big deal. Gold at this point, huge objective for them because they're behind. So they pick up a gold objective for a Dragon, which is just the second one. They set up the turret. Now they go for another one. This will completely equalize the gold if they're able to pull it off. And a really brave move means that they are.
Yeah, and they've got a turret to fall back to here as well as Flandre. He's going to teleport in, beat Sky, and they're split.
That's fantastic strategic play coming through from Snake. There was a gold deficit. The Dragon, once again, it gives useful stats, also puts a timer on the game. However, by taking the two money-based objectives, Snake able to crawl their way into pretty much an equal-footed game.
Yeah, well, the gold definitely saying so as it's tied up almost completely at this stage. The whole outer ring of turrets is what's giving Snake this advantage. Whoosh going to try his best to negate that one as MLXG and Lamb hanging around here. Living Artillery going to let Snake know exactly about that fact as the Crocs are going to go down. This turret is going to be given up. It is going to be Assassin taking down the Sun turret at the same time. Whoosh just needs to finish this one off. Just being a little bit lazy on that one. Wants to kill as many creeps as possible. And the pause is going to come through. Whoosh says, yes, I took down a turret. I'm out of here.
I'm gone.
Yep.
He's back.
Well, we shall see how this one goes, of course. Barker hanging out there on your screen. Having a better game than last time, of course. His Rise wasn't that impressive, but his Azir has always been strong. 100% of his team's kills, you can't really argue that one, but is it bad for the Snake lineup that he was unable to put as much pressure on this Kassadin as Azirs, like rookies, have done in the past?
Yes, he would have loved to have put more pressure on there.
But should he have been able to?
Yeah, he definitely should have been able to. But the good thing is he got to the point in the mid-game where now he's just as relevant as Kassadin.
Okay.
So, definitely they wanted to use that matchup to be able to put a lot of pressure down. But the thing you have to understand that mid lane, we love to say it's a one-on-one lane, and it's never really the case. Rookie only can do what he can do because Cacao is such a good jungler that gets him the vision required, able to get in there. And realistically, if they ran into a 2v2, MLXG is going to tear Gragas apart, not to mention the low health pool that's going to come through from Azir. So he really wasn't in a position to ever be able to overextend. Instead, he made the right call, rotated bottom at the start of the game to try and get Whoosh ahead because that is much more of a bully lane with all of the CC that Nautilus brings. If the Nautilus lane ever gets ahead, there's no way that the Kog'Maw can approach farm, so it was very unselfish with how he attacked the map.
Well, that's true, and he did rotate around and got that kill like you mentioned, so does work out for him, himself, and also helps get his Kog'Maw ahead like you mentioned, so has worked out. I was just making the comment just because, look, we've seen Azirs completely decimate these lanes before, and Barker is a fantastic Azir. Yeah,
definitely is, and you know, the credit to him is that he was able to get around the map early, pick up the 2 kills as you mentioned, able to get to his core items now. He's even picked up a needlessly large rod on top of it. So he's sitting extremely pretty. If you look at the gold, he's only maybe 100 behind, and that's because his team in general is about 1,000 gold behind. So he's doing fairly well for himself. It is the fact that, unfortunately, Crystal was a little bit picked on by MLXG, repetitively visited bottom, even after Barker's effort to try and get them ahead. And they don't have scaling problems per se, but there is a lot of threat into a 2-carry lineup. We've already seen Pawn do it extremely successfully in Game Fine against Team WE. If Assassin is ever able to get onto either Barker or Crystal, he's really going to cause them difficulties in the late game.
Yeah, and that Black Shield's not going to mean anything as well because one Riftwalk is going to remove that completely, and then the likes of Lamb going to be able to just depth charge whoever he feels like, and when you've got Barker and Crystal being so squishy as well, that could be a bit of a problem here. And Wushin, again, having a fantastic game. 1-0-1 on this vein, sitting on Azil's amount of gold, but is going to be going for that Ghostblade once more, has the Brutalizer. This is a fantastic mid-game stage for a Vayne. And like I mentioned, like he's just so comfortable picking this champion up over and over again.
Yeah, he certainly is. You might be wondering why he favors the Brutalizer build. It's because a lot of the Chinese AD carries actually max Q first still. So any flat damage that you can get on top of that, not to mention the fact that the armor penetration is fantastic as an early game stat, just bridges some of Vayne's missing power spike, I guess. If you max Silver Bolts, you can definitely go the attack speed build that we see sometimes coming through, the Blade of the Ruined King into maybe a Static Shiv or a Phantom Dancer, as well as throw a Last Whisper or an Infinity Edge, depending on how snowballed you are. But that's not what he's really about. He's about these short, sharp trades, and the good thing about it is still, Vayne late game, always going to be incredibly strong. You could build Frozen Mallet on her for all I care, and she's still going to do terrific damage. But she has very significant gaps in her kit. And Whoosh is just trying to make up with that with a different build. It definitely doesn't work out every time, but it can if it pays off.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether it does this game. Did in the last one. Didn't quite so much in the first one, but still had a great performance. And look, we'll see how it goes. Only 20 minutes in, and King, they do have a small lead, but they look like they're playing with more momentum. And that is a massive deal considering how badly, you have to say, the first game went. But we are back onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, after that brief pause. And Crystal is going to be trying to farm out what remains of this lane after that tower did go down. MLXG going to steal away the blue buff as well. It's Decimating Smash going to come through. And Flandre did manage to at least spot out what was going on. They've got the timer on their blue, but definitely don't have a blue.
Yeah, so no blue buff going to be able to be picked up from Baka. We'll clear out some wards here. Needs to be.
Oh, so close.
That was close.
So close. Almost gets a Rift Sculler for it as well. Was that blind?
They've actually sent Whoosh into the mid lane to try and siege down this turret. Going to be very difficult against Baka, who has wave clear for days. Also caught up completely in CS now, but Assassin, he's trying to split push. And with his high mobility, I actually think Castanin is very underrated currently as a split pusher because he's able to get out of some sticky situations. But his chase is phenomenal and doesn't really have that. There was kind of a lag. You hit your first Rift Walk on the old kit, got him to like 75% of the health, and then they walked away from you. That is no longer the problem. He's on about like a 2-second cooldown at the moment. He's just going to keep chasing. Yeah,
he's just going to keep jumping on you and jumping on you. And Barker, I mean, he can move away once, but that's only one of the 2-second Rift Walks that you can deal with. And then you're going to be dead. Crystal actually going for more of a attack speed orientated build. And why do you think that is? Of course, it is going to be Sky foregoing the Frozen Heart at this stage. MLXG not going to pick one up either. Or does that mean that Crystal just thinks Phantom Dancer a better option?
So it's funny you mentioned that, Atlas, because this is the build that I actually think is the Kog'Maw build. It's why I like playing it with Nami. You need some sustain.
Okay.
But if you get some critical strike, you have Phantom Dancer, you have IE, you go into an Infinity Edge, because he really doesn't need Last Whisper.
Yep.
And you completely wreck people. It means that you have to stay incredibly safe, which is probably why they paired it with an Azir, so we can push people off him. But this is maximum DPS, throw everything in on Kog'Maw kind of build. Blade of the Ruined King is good because it has a lifesteal. It's a little bit more of a safe option.
Yep.
But to hell with that, that's not fun. If you want to do damage,
style too.
If you want to do damage, this is the build for damage.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether he goes for it because, of course, I like the idea of this being a Phantom Dancer into an Infinity Edge because that's just so much crit on top of the extra that you get from the Trinity Force already. And I feel like you've already got over sort of that lull in damage that you're going to have by picking up that Trinity Force, and why not just go all out?
Yeah, exactly right. It goes well with his kit. Puts you near maximum attack speed without any other attack speed modifiers coming in. Of course, he hasn't got the luxury of a Nunu, hasn't got the luxury of anything else in this
Does have
kit.
his Q, I guess.
Has his Q, definitely, but that's something that Kog'Maw brings regardless of the build. And
that is true.
We'll be able to jump in there and just dish out all of the pain. If he gets one of those surprising crits at the start of the fight onto like a Vayne or a Cassin, all of a sudden they can't participate in the fight anymore.
No, because they're dead.
Well, nearly dead.
Close to. It depends. If he's got 6 items, no boots. That would be a dead Vayne, potentially, if she's level 2. Look, she's not going to be. Clutching at straws here just a little bit. Thank goodness we're back on the Rift. As King, Wushin, just going to be clearing out this mid lane and see who is going to be making the next move. And my money's on Snake at this stage because King haven't been really doing that. They've been playing a fair bit of reactive League of Legends. Flandre going to clear out this bottom lane. Does have not quite the teleport available just yet. Sky has his, though, up in that top side, as Crystal going to be going up there to answer that split. We've sort of had a laning phase forever.
Yeah, Blade of the Ruined King picked up here for Whoosh, so he's in a good power spot. See if Assassin decides to go with some CDR for his build, or whether he does elect to go for that Zhonya's Hourglass that we've seen be so important. Also, Rift, a surprisingly large amount of boots too still missing.
Yeah, not too many opting to upgrade those.
Yeah, mid laner's not going for it.
Yeah, that's only the mid laners though. The rest of them, we've got some boots 5 there as well. Maybe they think that they've got so many extra numbers on their boots they can make up for any lack. Here is Assassin back in this bottom side of the map. Hasn't bought for quite some time, but you can see Barker not too worried as well. Sitting on very similar farm. Actually finishes the Luden's Echo here on the Azir.
Wow, that's a weird pickup.
I'm excited to see this one happen. Of course, you do use a whole lot of spells as Azir, and you like to be wandering around.
Yeah, you certainly do. You travel quite far with your E as well.
Well, we'll see how it works out.
Definitely some synergy coming through here. I think that Sky just pulls the trigger. Get in there. There's no way that Barker can respond. They've seen him in the mid lane.
Yeah, there's the ultimate actually coming through. Dark Binding not going to land here at the same time as Beast. He is going to get the Black Shield. They haven't locked it down. The flash in response here from Ella, but Snake, they've managed to disengage.
Yeah, but they get a lot for it. They grabbed 2 flashes coming through there. All they really had to use was the ultimate coming through from Sky, and they're already able to get Assassin into the mid lane, so that's good. That means that next time this kind of situation happens, they're able to get a better team fight for it, because Dragon, that's up in 50 seconds. 2 key flashes not available.
Yeah, well, it's true. Although, Liam doesn't have his as well. So, I mean, that's a thing. But, of course, they managed to get an extra one out of it. Yep, you are counting at me here, Spawn, and I do understand that 2 is better than 1. That was almost embarrassing, but not actually managing to get that one out. But Dragon up, as you mentioned, about 25 seconds, and Barker might find himself in a bit of an uncomfortable position. Does use his E in order to get to one of his Sand Soldiers, but MLXG not giving up on this one. Actually flashes over the wall, does get exhausted. Emperor's Divide.
They get everything before the Dragon fight, Atlas. They even get the Azir ultimate out. This is going to be a 3rd Dragon for King, which puts them around that 40-minute mark, and we'll see whether they want to start a fight beforehand. I think that they can just back away with all the ultimates down, with the flashes down as well from Morgana. Pick up the easy objective. Don't get over greedy. For once, I'm actually erring them on the side of caution.
I'm not. I'm hoping they go for something here. They are going to be able to pick up the Dragon. Barker halfway back to this one. Ella is going to be able to potentially get a ward over the side. No vision going to be available here as Living Artillery tries to go for the steal, but MLXG does have a smite.
The fight.
Ooh, Dredgeline onto Beast. He's actually coming back in on this one now as well. Crystal positioned quite nicely as Dredgeline comes through, but Barker picks up the kill. Flandre's back in the backside as well, as Sky trying to run away now. Assassin does have the Rift Walk, can get over the wall there, but Flandre gets on top of him. Nice on his Hourglass from Assassin, just allows him to Rift Walk a little bit further as MLXG coming back into this one. Whoosh coming back into the fight. Snake going to just turn their attention to this turret in the bottom side. Crystal, a lot of extra DPS as Flandre gets ignited now. Beast in here as well. Oh my goodness. Lacking in the mana, and now Wushin able to come through. That's a double kill so far. The Vayne really exploding in this one. Soul Shackles doesn't quite go off as Flandre looking to try and pick something up. The triple kill for Whoosh as MLXG zoning away the Cogmore. Quadra kill for Whoosh. He's looking for the Penta. Crystal hanging out here, doesn't want to go for it. But a beautiful display of some Vayne mechanics there.
Yeah, it certainly was, but just a reckless dive coming through from Snake. They were in a good position off the back of that. They picked up a kill. They could have just sieged up nicely. Remember, we said there is no wave clear coming through from King. They could have just sat there, kept attacking the turret. There was nothing King could really do about it. It was a 4v5. Instead, they go incredibly deep, tank the turret up for days. In the end, Whoosh able to rejoin it, tears them apart. They effectively pick up the ace now that Kog'Maw's fallen down as well.
Liam just soloed the Kog'Maw, who was, I believe, trying to kill Krugs?
He was trying to do something. Liam found him.
Because I was pretty sure that MLXG took down the red buff. So... perplexing.
Might actually be the Baron. They're pinging it out.
Yeah, 3,000 gold only the difference here as Ella's going to get aggressed on. Assassin coming over the wall with a Rift Walk. Ella very, very low as the Sand Soldiers are in here now. Barker doing a lot of persistent damage, but Assassin picks up the support kill. MLXG very low, but super tanky as Sky's making his way around as well. Barker, oh my goodness, wrong place, wrong time. Whoosh picks up another kill now. This Vayne final hour popped, lots of damage, flashes forward, picks up a double. Whoosh is getting out of control.
He's not getting out of control.
Whoosh
he is out of control. 7-0-1 has got a last whisper for his efforts as well. Sitting on another 800 gold, he can go pick himself up another pickaxe if he wants to go towards an Infinity Edge. Probably would be... Wow, he's got another dagger. Wants even more attack speed coming through there. Might be a Phantom Dancer or a Zeal.
Yeah, I could understand a Zeal would come through. Or a Zephyr. Nailed it. See, we managed to remember the Zephyr this time. We're not that bad.
The reason behind Zephyr is there was actually a very popular build that came through that was Blade of the Ruined King. Zephyr into your lifesteal item like a Bloodthirster. Don't really prioritize crit. More prioritize that consistent damage, kind of like the Callista idea. Okay. And it allows you to deal with champions like the Morgana, like the Maokai, because of course every single second that you're not in that CC, you're doing more consistent damage, and a lot of her kit does revolve around that high mobility, high risk, high reward attack speed kind of build.
Well, we'll see whether that is going to be opted in for. Of
not.
course, it's not how it started out.
Could have been.
Yeah.
We came so far with the story.
Yeah, I know.
I, for one, very disappointed in it.
I just really hope that it happens next game and you're sort of proven to be some sort of prophet. But Snake now have position around this Baron, are going to be able to clear out at least the vision. Liam able to get another ward over the wall. Barker using his Sand Soldiers to clear those ones out. Very handy. Flandre heading back to base. Doesn't have his teleport, not looking for some sort of home guard situation. Has a full inventory. Righteous Glory is available as well. Has completed the Frozen Heart, which is also there on the side of Sky. And Crystal with an interesting build. Has a BF sword, but also that Zeal and a dagger. Looking for a Phantom Dancer at some stage.
1600 Artis.
Oh, Beast. In a little bit of trouble. 1550 Artis. Of course. Like it.
1800 when I started.
Prey Seeker is going to find the team of Snake, and of course the Tremor Sense working wonders here for MLXG, letting them know exactly where the Snake lineup are. But of course, all 5 of them now in the mid lane, very visible to the King lineup. They're staying together. Barrel over the side. MLXG so tanky on this Rek'Sai.
Still needs to be careful. They don't want to burn anything on him, but he's still...
Oh, Dredgeline going to find Beast. He gets Black Shielded yet again. Whoosh is going to head round from the side, but the King members very, very mobile. There's the Twisted Advance on an MLXG. Probably not the target they want to be focusing as Whoosh. Free hitting in the backline. Beast going to skirmish him up here, trying to lower that damage. Crystal, though, right in the middle of the fight, going to die, focusing down MLXG. Not a priority target as Whoosh gonna dodge out of the way. The Acathian surprise as well. Snake trying to get some follow-up kills. MLXG going down very, very low. Barker flashes forward, picks up Lamb, picks up MLXG. The double kill now. Sky might have to sacrifice himself as Barker is on a rampage throughout this fight. Assassin super low. Whoosh also very low as well. Beast flashes forward onto that one. Decimating Smash. My gosh, this Scion just taking so long to die. Ella finally going to lock down that kill, and Arcane Smash going to slow down the approach of the dead Scion. And Snake, in the end, win that fight 1 for 3.
Yeah, might even be able to grab Baron, probably a little bit too low, but Whoosh has to deal with a massive minion wave in the bottom. There's still 30 seconds. They've pinged it out a little bit too late, but they might still give it a crack.
Yeah, that's the immediate teleport in here from Flandre. That ward actually was almost about to die there as the Locket of the Iron Slayer is going to be popped just to keep Snake safe. They have a lot of consistent damage. But MLXG has found his way into this fight. Barker, very, very low still.
Got Assassin, maybe.
Yeah, they may be overcommitting here onto this one. Crystal, oh my goodness, Whoosh gets twisted and advanced on Beast, looking for the kill here as well. He finally goes down, but picks up a double kill for it at the beginning. The teleport in from Sky. He's going to be huge when he comes into this fight. Over-aggressive Baron choices. Other decisions here for Snake, not quite working out for them. They lose 3 members so far. That won't be all, as Beast is going to die here as well. And
Flandre slowly.
Yep, slowly but surely going to be falling down. Sky having his revenge at this stage. My goodness, depth charge going to be used. Of course, Liam realizes that the death timers probably enough to warrant using that one again. Flandre, my goodness, wasting so much time. Crystal and Ella are now back alive again. And King may not be able to lock down this Baron.
Yeah, because they just took so long to kill everyone, which begs the question, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Why does it beg that question?
Well, he was wooden.
Ah, got it.
A long time.
And Sky, I guess, is playing Scion. Lumberjack skin available. Not used, unfortunately, for that particular joke, because that one sailed right by. I'm not going to lie to you.
As Sky started up, no, Sky's just clearing out vision in the Baron pit. They'll be able to grab the Dragon on the other side. It's number 4 coming across at a pretty good click still.
Yeah, it is going to be King, you know, still not quite the gold lead of last game, but still very, very nice. When you've got Whoosh calling the police with his score, it's very, very frightening. Sky manages to win the battle with the Scuttlebug. Beast not able to pick that one up, but does get some wards down here around the Baron. No one gets the objective. That's the main thing.
So if we go back to what happened last fight, Crystal was trying to come in and Assassin was actually able to get on top of him, do about half of his health. Because he was the one that went Zhonya's Hourglass, he used it on the back line.
Yep.
And then was able to riff walk away. From there, it was an easy assassination pickup for Whoosh because it was an unfair fight. Remember, he had just joined from base, full health, was able to take the Cogmore out and then had a lot more consistent damage. Eventually went down, but without one of the 2 big damage threats coming through for Snake, they were just able to force him off the fight. The other thing to point out is the fact that because Assassin has gone for that Zhonya's Hourglass, he's able to get 2 rotations of spells out. Bucker went for the Luden's Echo, a lot more aggressive of a build, but if he is ever caught out of position, there's only 1 round of spells that he gets through before he is just completely exploded.
Yeah, and we've seen that time and time again so far. Of course, Sky and MLXG able to close distance relatively effectively. I mean, Sky not so much without his ultimate, but MLXG no slouch there, and Liam has been hitting these dredge lines throughout this game.
King making a good choice here because of how big bottom wave is. They're baiting out the Baron.
Yeah, Righteous Glory to come through there as Flandre just tanks up everything about the initiation coming through. Nice knock up onto the tree here, but he's not taking too much damage. Beast trying to be tanky, but as soon as Whoosh focuses him, that's a lot of work done. Barker tries to use the ult, but doesn't quite work out as Assassin gets bound over the wall. Gragas does fall down, and no member of King has died, but Snake, they do at least not lose the rest of their team.
They've lost the Baron. Bottom turret still might even fall down, Atlas, as that is a huge wave. It's at about 200 health. Doesn't even matter, and King finally with a really smart objective decision coming through there, but it's all about Whoosh at this point. No one can get on top of him. He's able to free hit. Assassin, on the other hand, every single time on top of Crystal. He's been completely bullied this game. 0, 5, and 6, not having a great game.
No, and Crystal, you can see he's, what, 2.5 items down as Barker gets flashed on. That was a beautiful dredge line coming through as Whoosh going aggressive after getting turret aggro from multiple different turrets. He's going to have to go back now. They won't be able to pick up that inner turret just yet, I don't think, as Assassin has made his way around there. Sky, though, is going to be slowly hitting this inner turret as Flandre makes his way around. Twisted Advance in there aggressively, but they are going to be able to take this one down. Whoosh now pops the final hour. A lot of damage onto these tanky members as Flandre wants to turn this one around. They are trying to kite for Whoosh in here as Beast going to get taken down solo. Flandre going to get exploded as Liam picks up that one. Assassin now finds himself underneath the turret. Ella going to die. And King just steamrolling this game. And this has been decisive, King. 12,000 gold in the lead. 36 minutes into the game. They're breaking down the base. The inhibitors are falling. They may be able to finish right off here.
Oh, they're definitely able to finish right off here. And you have to watch, if you're a Vayne player, how Whoosh played that fight. Hit around the corner till both gap closers were out, then went through and completely obliterated. Once again, shout out to Assassin, who zoned the backline one more time. Whoosh able to shred the tanks much easier than they were able to deal with the Cassidon. Yeah. And look at the smiles coming through from King.
Yeah, really beautifully played, and that was exactly what they needed to do. Snake, they look a bit gobsmacked. They're wondering, I mean, this isn't the King that we're used to. This isn't the King that isn't able to follow up with the their early game leads. This is a King making decisions and sticking to them.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they must be having LSPL flashbacks.
Yeah.
Where King definitely had their measure. This is exactly the same. Snake, we're used to seeing the great team fighting, the understanding of where they need to be on the map. They're not covering for their weaknesses this time around, and a lot of it, you have to say, comes down to that AD carry player. Wushin's killing Crystal.
Yeah, he's killing a whole lot of people. He finished that game on about 11 kills. Massive scoreline. You have to mention MLXG picking up the Rek'Sai again. They've got a lot of comfort picks, and King looking fantastic. They're going to be going into potentially a victory here over Snake, the rank 2 team. This is huge for King heading into this one. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting to that game very, very soon. We're going to have a short break, but don't go anywhere. We got King versus Snake right after this.